long. Has it ever been this long? I don't think since I've
When
known
I was
you.
like younger,
Okay.
I think, or I had braids and stuff, afro. But yeah, I just said I'm just gonna keep growing, and I don't know. It just became this thing.
All right. We're just gonna like let it go for the foreseeable future.
Yeah, yeah. Until I mean, my wife, she's already tired of it. She tells me to cut it all the time, but I'm here. I'm just chilling, letting it go.
Man, it looks great. Let me tell you, it looks great.
Thank you.
So keep it up. All right, a few things to talk about today. Obviously, your last competition, not your last competition, but I haven't really spoken with you much since the Olympic trials. Man, we it's been talked about to no end. You're stuck in the middle, and it's you really are. It kind of sucks that 70 is not an Olympic weight, but how in 2016 you decided to go down. Probably didn't feel well. Didn't go really great. You thought you were going to go 74
Hmm.
for this Olympics. Not the last second, right? But I think with the year extension from 2020 to 21, you said, "Hey, let's give it another try." Um, how was the cut down? What was the difference between 2016 and 2021 as far as how you felt, how it went, and yeah.
Um, yeah, it was a total 180, right? Total just difference compared to 2016 to this year cutting down. And just like the outside factors of in 2016, I was still in school at Nebraska. So to be able to put in the time to weight watch or and practice and then go to class and do homework, especially coming down from uh, just the weight class I was at, 70 kilos. It was just a lot harder. So compared fast forward to now where I'm not in school, I have more free time. I don't have to go to work out in the morning before class and then go to class, and then after class I'm going to practice, and then after practice I'm going back to class. Like it was just, take that school out, that school factor. And I'm a little bit older, a little bit wiser, a lot healthier nutrition, and a better meal plan heading into it. It was definitely a lot easier, and I felt as I kept competing and going down and making the descent, it just got a little easier to do. And then with the events that we had, the RTC Cup, the 150-pound bracket, I felt confident that yeah, I could do it and I could wrestle. Especially, and it's crazy because in 2016 it was day before, so
Oh yeah.
and I felt like crap then, but I felt way better just a couple hours off the scale. So yeah, the obviously making weight isn't the competition, but I definitely did have a better time this year around, this time around. So I can't be mad about it. I'm disappointed with my performance, but that side of it was a lot easier, a lot less stressful.
Sure. And you mentioned the performance, right? You lost to Joey McKenna, who did go on to become runner up, and he's actually going to be at Pan Am's this week. But what's your take? How did you, I guess, evaluate or assess that match, either in the moments after, the day after, the week after, or even today, maybe?
He wrestled a great match. I mean, obviously he wrestled a great tournament.
Yeah.
He was dialed in. He kept me away from the things that I was good at. And yeah, he was just solid. He's a solid wrestler. He's been around. He's experienced. And he's a top level guy. I think that I obviously down at that weight, my matches are a little bit more strategic as far as my output, my energy levels. So being able to keep the pressure on or keep attacking was a little difficult. But and then on top of that, he's a high level athlete. So yeah, it was a lot of different factors. But hats off to him. And he got to the finals. And I'm sure he'll be around 65 for a long time. So my hats off to him.
Yeah. Would you say, even though it was much easier getting down and making weight this year, that it still had an impact on you being that small and
Oh
whatever
yeah,
that does to your body?
oh yeah, for sure. Like I said, even after the tournament and going back preparing for the Open, just my workouts and my in the room live wrestling, there's just a lot more output, a lot more high level scrambles, opportunities to wrestle or create action, more points. So there's where I was kind of getting hurt at on that end, as far as trying to pick and choose my spots down at that weight. Not to say I wasn't conditioned, but just to know that I didn't really know how I would feel coming off the scale, especially in the first match. So trying to uh, get over that hump was always a problem cutting down to that weight. So
Sure. Um, what do you weigh right now? Sitting on that couch.
probably like 168, 167.
Okay. And the
Yeah, I
weights.
don't. I mean it, and I haven't really been like. I mean, I haven't. I guess I'm going to Poland, but I haven't really been watching what I'm eating or anything like that. So I can get up there if I get crazy, if I have a couple donuts and stuff. So,
What's your favorite kind of donut?
chocolate glaze.
It didn't take you very long to say that.
No, eat that Monday through Friday.
Did you have obviously there's so much going, cutting the weight, getting down, going to the Olympic trials, trying to make it, and then losing. But like, is there like a first meal you had? Did you go out to dinner? What was the first binge you
Um,
did? Let's put it that way.
Man, I was because so I'm not I don't typically like blow up when I cut weight, so it's very hard for me to eat. And then with the whole, I didn't make the Olympic team, and I was kind of like just down, so I didn't really want to eat. But I think I remember going out. What did we get? I think I just had like a pasta. I don't even know if I finished it. I was just kind of like, but I'm always if it's any other occasion, like we go overseas or something, my first thing I'm a big wings. I love wings. So like go overseas, come back. Oh, I got to where can I get some wings at? That's the first meal. Wings, burger, fries.
You
Yeah,
got a
that's
wings?
good to
You
go.
got a wing place in Virginia?
No, I mean, I haven't found like a solid one that I like to go to, but I think that there's a couple spots. I think it's called PK's here. They're pretty good.
Uh,
Other than that, I'm a big wing guy.
all right. How important was it to you to get back and compete right away? It wasn't that far later that the senior nationals rolled around back up at 70 kilos.
It was important just because like 65 kilos. You're only as good as your last. So and then even though 70 kilos is not an Olympic spot, it's still going to be world championships. So I felt like I had to go just to you know keep people on notice like this is my weight class. And even though I went down, I'm still here. I'm not going anywhere. And if you want to get on this team, you have to go through me. So
Yeah. Pantaleo, right? He looked good at the 150, right? He knocked off Jo. He looked good out in, was it Rome or one of those tournaments? I think he won one of those tournaments 70 kilos. What were your expectations for the match against him and versus how it went? Or was it the same?
um, I know that he's always gonna. I think he took me down. He got the first takedown, so I know early he's gonna come out and try and attack. Get to his stuff, but I know I'm solid in my position and kind of putting the pressure on, so I'm good at holding center, and I think just a little bit more experience when it comes to controlling the edge and stuff like that. So I guess a little more so. I just know if I control the center, if I hold good position, it's going to be difficult for him to beat me. He might get to my legs, which he did. I'm gonna make it hard for him to finish, and I think that uh, that's kind of going to be the results of the match every time when it comes to it. So, but I know he's training. He works hard. So, look forward to seeing him and anyone else that wants to give it a shot at 70 kilos.
You talked about, the experience and control and center and probably a lot of these little nuanced things more than you're actually even describing. Is that things you can pick up, or is that things that like just takes time to feel those and understand them and be proficient
Definitely
in them?
takes time. Obviously, with experience and the more matches you get, you get to pick up on those things. And we've wrestled twice now, so I'm sure he's picking up on little things. But obviously, the things that just because you go back to your room and you practice it doesn't it's not the same feeling in a live match. So and then I'm trying to learn and get better as well. So I think there's going to be a number of guys going to Poland, and if we meet, then we meet. If not, then you just have to wait. But every time it's going to be a little different in some capacity. But the energy and the output and the grit is going to be there the same every time.
Sure. I guess speaking of Poland, right? You're wrestling on June 8th, June 6th,
June 8th, yeah.
June 8th, out in Poland. Is there anybody that you believe is going to be there at 70 kilos you're excited to wrestle, or anybody you hope shows up at 70 kilos?
It's always hard to tell in these Olympic years just because you don't know who's who's trying to be the guy, I guess, for other countries at 70. So I'm just looking for competition. And whoever's if Russia sends guys or if Iran, I don't know, Bulgaria, whoever. But really, I just want to get overseas, get some different competition in, and set. I think it is a ranking tournament, so you get some points for the World Championship. So I know I need those, and every point counts. So that's what I'm trying to do.
Sure. When was your last overseas competition?
I went to France. I took second at
That's right.
65 kilos. Lost to Yanni in the finals.
Yep. Okay. Before that, had you been since the pandemic?
Yeah, I went to Italy at 74 kilos. It's crazy. At 65, 74, 70. So,
What's the biggest difference between a 65 kilo and other than size, right? Just like the way they move, the way between 65 and 74, which is obviously it's a huge jump.
man, I feel like the 65 guys, or just, yeah, little guys, they never stop moving. So, just like when you think you got them, they're like wiggling, they're squirming. You gotta really put them down to get your points. As opposed to where, as you get bigger, it's just like, okay, if I get to this shot, then he might try and scramble, but more times than any, it's going to be like to the legs, up, finish. It's not so much as a scramble as you even like. I feel like you just look. You can go to World Championships and you look at that 65 and 57. There's so many different like just continuing wrestling, and I picked up on that and I liked it a lot actually. And I feel like I want to put myself in those positions more because that's where I need to work on. So that's what I've been working on here at Virginia Tech and trying to just get into more different, unfamiliar territory. And I wrestle a lot with Bryce Andonian, so he's all about that action. So it's cool.
Yeah. And I guess how does 70 kilos compare? As far is it literally right in the middle in terms of what you just described? The 74s, if you get to them, you're typically going to score. 65s, they wiggle all over the place. What's describes how does 70 compare to either of those in that regard?
I feel like 70 is more towards it's there's yeah, like you said, it's in the middle, but more times than any, if you get to a leg and you get you're gonna get a push out or you're gonna get a takedown where I don't know. Maybe you guys can make a video of it, but there's just so many more different scramble opportunities, or just you think, oh, this guy's gonna score at 65, and then you're like, how the hell did they get out, or what the hell? That was a crazy scramble, and no points are scored. So, yeah, I think it's night and day, clear
Yeah.
difference.
I love watching those scenarios. Probably. I love watching little guys, and I'm absolutely biased. All right, let's change tunes a little bit. Who is James Green? Right, we I think it was back in November we met up with you. I think it was first in Brooklyn and then in New Jersey over 2 or 3 days, and we spent some time filming a lot with you and a lot with your friends and family, talking about your journey through wrestling and life and your story. And I guess. And I know we probably contacted you 3, 4, maybe 5 years ago and talked about doing it a while ago. But
Yeah.
what did you think when we First of all, were you pissed at me when I was like, "Hey, let's do it," and then I was like, we're not doing it.
No, no, no. Timing is everything, and I think it worked out. It worked out well how it did, especially since I came back to the East Coast now. Um, would have been a little different, I guess, if I was still out in Nebraska. But no, it was definitely good. I really appreciate you guys and how you told the story or helped tell the story. So
Yeah.
I liked it a lot.
Yeah, and I know you've seen the final version, and I guess I just want to play some of the clips. We got a couple clips here that I want to play, and we'll
Let's
just
do
kind of
it.
take a look at it and get your reaction afterwards. So,
Yeah.
Tyler, super producer, if you're ready, let's roll clip one.
We're at the rec center where we had the Willenboro rec wrestling program. I mean, and kind of any of the sports, football, track, basketball. You have to check in and you're going to wrestling practice. This hallway before with parents kind of looking in on the wrestling room.
Look at the poster.
Oh yeah, look at that.
Right there.
Here we go, right? That's from last year. I did my camp
Yeah.
here. When I was wrestling here, like this little blue curtain divider, it was like a little brown wall, but it would split the room because they had like, what's that called? Like cardio, dance or
Yeah.
fitness on the other side. And then we have our practice in here. So it's a combination of the practice mats and the competition mats, but pretty much we use like these 4 mats, roll them out, and yeah, we have our wrestling practice in here. It was crazy. You know, talking about like watch out where you're going. That wasn't even a thing. You just kind of rolled into the next group, ran around, king of the hill, wrestled the whole room, get the takedown.
Pull him back in.
As I was a child and my dad was involved with my wrestling, I didn't feel like he was overbearing. At least I couldn't tell. Other parents, I think they thought that he was just because he was like always screaming, always like run that, come on, shoot.
Light them out. Get that on back.
A lot of times his dad was on the sidelines coaching them or trying to give him some pointers and hints. He always had us competing, but it wasn't a competition to where you would like hate your rival. It's more so just a healthy respect of whatever you're doing. Make sure that you're putting the best effort into what you're doing.
Good, keep the pressure.
Dad was really inspirational in getting us to go in a lot of tournaments.
Mr. Green, he's a great individual. I remember, even at such a young age, he was really big on like respect. So I remember, if I didn't say good morning or hi, like he would, give me a look.
I remember one time we were in at a room, and he went out. He didn't like the way the kids were doing the push-ups or something, and he went out there. He started doing push-ups in the middle of the mat, and a couple other parents joined him, and they started doing push-ups. He would get the room going. If he saw somebody slacking, he was on them.
He wasn't a perfectionist, but he always knew that we can do better. So like one of the things he always preached about was like focus. Focus. Whatever you're doing, focus.
My dad was the kind of guy, like, if he saw somebody that was good or that, like, they knew what they were doing, he would record them. Like, I got matches of other people that didn't even wrestle at Willenboro or that's wrestled different states or whatever, but he liked what, he said, all right, we gotta watch this guy's next match, record that.
He loved the sport of wrestling. He was like feeding on it, And he used to make James run up and down the steps and I guess work out all the time and stuff, and just had a real, real love for it.
So when you see that clip and you basically think back to your youth wrestling and your early wrestling experiences, how does that make you feel and what does that make you think?
Man, I was skinny. Nah, it's hard to believe, honestly, just because going into at a young age, you don't really know the outcome or where you're headed to. You're just like, hey, I like to do this. I'm spending time with my family, my friends, competing. I'm having fun. It's just like, you're in that moment and now sitting here, 2017, or how old was I? 21, quick math, 21 years later, it's just like, wow, I came a long way. That little scrawny kid doing some big things now.
What were your favorite and maybe least favorite things about wrestling, if there was, as a youth?
I've always been competitive. I hated losing, and I felt like at the time of when I first started, you wanted that instant gratification of, I know what I'm doing, I'm gonna win every match, and I just hated it. Especially not really making sense of why I'm losing. And at the time, I always they used to do like, it was called the Grapevine Lead, and you get paired up with kids from other towns and you wrestle them. And for some reason, I kept getting paired up with these older kids, and I'm like, why do I have to wrestle these older kids? I'm not going to win. At that point, the difference between a year older, 2 years older, it's huge. Even though if you could be around the same weight, just the maturity and the how to use your body, your muscles. And I always hated it. Like, I got to wrestle this older kid, this heavier kid. And when it's just kind of like now when you go to tournaments and you're looking in the bracket. Back then, I think they had the sheet, and like you could see your ranking or something like that. I think they use like not even your ranking, but just how many years of experience. So this guy might be a 1 because he's just started wrestling, and this guy might be a 4 because he's been wrestling a long time. So you go by and you see like, oh man, I gotta wrestle this 4. Oh, I gotta wrestle another 4. I just started. Like, that was the worst part of that I could remember. But the best part was honestly not even the wrestling, but just the snacks. After you're done, you go to the cafeteria. You got the cupcakes, you got the Skittles. You're like, man, this is great. Wrestle a couple times. Gatorade was there, just like a big kid in a candy factory. That's all. Can I get a $1 to go get some snacks? And then you just snack on that for all day. But yeah, I loved wrestling when I was younger. Had a great time.
How big a part of your youth wrestling was your dad? How involved was he?
Oh man, every part. He was a part of everything. The trip planning, whether I'm waking up. I remember every morning, he's waking us up, big breakfasts before tournaments. So I'd say he was coach, dad, chaperone, everything. He was a part of it across all the whole board. So definitely contributed a lot to my success at a younger age. And then obviously he was a scout. He'd buy, like I said, he'd record other matches or buy the DVDs and the tapes and try and perfect our craft, I guess, because he didn't know how to wrestle.
Awesome. All right, cool. Well, I got another little segment I want to play, and this is Bob Acosta.
B.O.B.
B.O.B. Yeah. Anyways, let's roll this if we can. Next
Mark, one time James told me, so he was doing the clinic, and some kid asked him, where did you go to camp? Because he never went to a camp. Yeah, isn't that amazing? Yeah. Never went to one camp? And he told him Bob's tents. And he goes, where's that? He goes, you don't want to know.
I never lifted in high school, but these chairs, I'm telling you, you get a lot of reps. Let me just try and do it. Let me see if I'm still here.
It's been a long time since he did this. I don't know if he can still do it.
So, like, you would basically go whole arm length, right? And you try and get it. I'm not even going to try because, dang, that's heavy. But you get it, and then you go lift, and you walk all the way to the truck.
Look at you see he lost it. You see what I mean? You see what
I don't even know how it kind of came into fruition, or like as far as me calling Bob and saying, hey, I want to go practice. Ever since I took that first trip, as far as him coming to pick me up and going to a practice and being in a different room, it was like, if I'm not getting enough practice here, I'm gonna call Bob and he's gonna find me somewhere I can work out. I'm calling Bob, ask my mom, can I go
go to practice, and she's always like, "What are you practicing for now?" And I'm like, I gotta get better.
Bob would come down from North Jersey, and I was in South Jersey. That's like an hour drive. Grab James and go up North Jersey. They wrestle and come back. I'm saying, this is a school night.
I'm coming back home 11 p.m., 12 a.m. or whatever, just because you don't get done out of practice till 8:39. Where you're with Bob, so you gotta get dinner.
You guys gonna put these cameras down? You guys are gonna eat. I don't know how he ended up staying here, but I figure when they going home,
Then as I got older, I started getting some muscles. I'm like, Bob, I might as well just work with you, putting up tents during the day and then go wrestle at night.
He never questioned it. I had a trailer out back. He would sleep out there, and I'd go down and pick him up and take him over to Jeff Buxton's place and Mike Cole, take him over to Mike's, made sure he makes Mike's a couple of times a week, and just wanted him to be around positive people.
Bob was a little bit different because he didn't seek me out for his own good. He sought me out for making sure that some of the kids that were around him had an opportunity to train at places that he thought were going to be good. I'd say that was pretty unique to see somebody do something like that. It was pretty cool.
That barn, you wouldn't believe it, but we call this guy Mr. Miyagi. I had to paint that barn with a hand brush.
Really? Yeah.
One summer. I remember I left and my hand just like stuck. I knew what hard work was, but when I was here, now I'm actually putting in the work, I was like, man, it's hot. In the summer, get back in the truck. Then you got to keep this guy happy. He might seem nice now, but don't mess up an order.
Don't mess up a job.
Don't mess up an order.
All right, so yeah, there's that segment, and your dad passed away when you were younger, and Bob somewhat took you under his wing and helped you out. But describe the relationship with Bob. I mean, I think people just got a sense of it, but just the 30,000-foot view.
Man, that guy, he's a mentor, friend, uncle. I got him on my phone as Uncle Bob. And he's just, I don't know, all around stand-up guy. He's amazing. Can't thank him enough for everything he's done for me and continues to do for me. So he's a great guy.
And I met him back, early Flow days, and he would always say, Bob's Tents. He's got a tent company,
Yeah.
Bob's Tents. We got you covered. I was like, it's genius. He goofy as
Bob's
can
Tents.
be, but awesome. What I don't know, same kind of question, right? What were some of the best parts and what were some of the more challenging parts maybe of working with and being around Bob?
Man, the best parts were I got to work, make some money, and then go wrestle. Like who who would not like that? And then it was just always a great time. I really can't say there was any downtimes. The only downtime that I can think of is like when he couldn't come get me, when he couldn't make it to a practice, or which is crazy to think about. That would make me upset at that time because I'm like, come on, man, we got to practice, but here's this guy who's got his own business, lives an hour away, and would take time out of his day to come pick me up and just to drive an hour, 2 hours in different directions, take me to another practice, and then go home and then kind of do that 3-4 times a week. So yeah, man, it was. I guess there was one bad time where I did put a hole in the tent with one of the poles, but he don't stay mad that long.
But describe to me the time, when you either saw the hole or you told him.
Man.
What was his reaction? How did that go?
It was one of those things where he was explaining, someone's explaining you what not to do, and then as he's explaining it happened, because I remember it was like a windy day. He's like, "Oh, you got to be careful. The wind will come and it'll blow the tent up, and it'll come." Right as he's saying it, wind comes through, blows the tent up, and comes right down on the pole and puts a hole through the tent. He's like, "I've been doing this for years. I told you. I knew this was going to happen." But it wasn't a big hole. So He's just a little pat. He doesn't like to patch him up, but yeah, we had to patch it up and keep it moving. I think his demeanor and seeing him in that light kind of rubbed off on me because yeah, he'll get mad, but he doesn't get too mad about things because life goes on, right? And he keeps it moving. So pretty cool.
And you kind of, I think, right, kind of split time. You lived with your mom and your family, but you spent times and nights with Bob and staying in the trailer. And I don't know, what did your mom think about that as you're a 16, 17-year-old boy?
Yeah. So shoot, even earlier than that,
Okay.
a lot of times. So during the school year, like my mom was saying, at school nights, I'd always come home at 11, 12 p.m. just because, right, we're in North Jersey. Practices are at 7, get over 8:30. Then you go get some dinner, and then Bob, he's a talker. He's talking to everybody. And then I'm not in a rush, right? I don't really care for going to school tomorrow morning. But yeah, he'd take me home. And then in the summertime, my mom, she worked in New Jersey, so I would go basically Monday mornings. We'd meet Bob at in the plaza somewhere. I'd hop in the truck with him, go work, stay the whole week, and then meet up back with my mom that Friday. It depends too. Depends on what was happening. If there was a wrestling, then I just stay. If there was a busy weekend for Bob's Tents, then I'd stay and help. But yeah, a lot of times, I'd stay up there, and my mom's just like, what's next? Why? Like I said, she's always, why are you practicing? Why you got to go to practice? You just wrestled somewhere. So there was that constant battle. But I just knew that, yeah, I had to get better. I wasn't happy with where my wrestling was at. And the only way that I was going to get better, if, the more time I spent with Bob, the more time I was going to get to these different rooms, going up to Blair, going up to Mike Cole's, North Hundred, and just all these different places. So that's where I needed to be.
All right, cool. I guess speaking of getting better, we got 2 more clips that are a little bit shorter. We'll play them back to back, and then we can come right back and chat about those, about getting good, and then kind of a little story about Nebraska. So, Tyler, when you're ready, if you can roll those, it'd be great.
Going into my junior year is when it kind of clicked. We started really hitting some tournaments, getting some good competition, started putting it together and winning the tough matches.
As he transitioned into his junior and senior year, I think he really blossomed. He could beat the best kids out there, but he proved that in the summers when he'd go to certain tournaments and stuff. He'd certainly beat some good kids.
Bob had took him to the East Stroudsburg University Open, and I think at that time the rule was still, you could still enter when you're in high school. James went there, and he actually competed. As a high school wrestling college kids.
At the same time, Flow is getting big. They're starting to record stuff, and people are getting on the internet.
James Green, first Flow national champion ever. How's it feel, man? National champion.
Yeah, first ever. It's kind of an honor, I feel like y'all picked me first. I got to Nebraska, and my first week of summer bridge, and I was wrestling a 41-pounder, and he just beat me up. I had to call my mom, like, damn, Mom, I think I picked the wrong school. I think I should have stayed home. This is crazy. I'm not getting anything done here.
Then he starts losing match after match. I'm like, Manning, you trying to break his spirit? What is it?
I remember one time, Mark Manning called me from Nebraska, and he said, there's something wrong with James. He's not talking to nobody. And I said to Mark, I'll give him a call, see what's going on. I talked to him for a while. He never said nothing. And before I hung up, I said, hey, James, your coach called me and said, something's up. And
right, 2 kind of contrasting segments there. One where you're going through high school and doing great, and you win first ever Florida Nationals champ. Congratulations. But then hitting this rough patch at the beginning of college, and was that a shock? Did you think you would just come to college and kind of do what you did in high school, or was it not?
Oh man, definitely was a shock. I just didn't think it was going to be as hard, right? Because as in high school, I mean, I was putting in the work. I was going above and beyond to work out, to stay in shape, and then to get to college and during this summer bridge, and you're wrestling people that obviously they at the time they're gonna be lighter than you, and you're supposed to be a 57 pounder. That was just like rough. That was a rough time, and I remember. I mean, shoot, everyone at Nebraska at that time knows like those first couple months, it was just a little rough for Summer Bridge, and I remember just having a conversation with Brian Snyder, and he's just like, when are you gonna, take this time, or when is it gonna click? When are you gonna start competing with these guys? And I literally at this, I'm just like, I don't know. I don't know what I can do different, and um, I don't. At the end of Summer Bridge, I really don't know what happened, but I went home and I came back, and it was just then everything started clicking. I started picking it up and started competing, performing in the room, and confidence slowly started growing. So it was good.
And I think we know the story from there. 4-time All-American, 5-time consecutive, right? I believe world team member.
Yeah.
And then two world medals. What would it mean to not put a cap on it, because I think you want to go beyond this year, but to go win a gold medal in Oslo in October?
Oh man, that's it would definitely it would mean a lot because at this point, I've been here. I know I can do it. I know I've been to the finals. And it's just about putting it together. So, I, regardless of not making an Olympic team or being on an Olympic team, I've never questioned my ability to wrestle. And I'm gonna put in the work and I'm putting in the time, and I think that this is a good year to do it, right? History shows that coming off the Olympic year, obviously that's when I took second. Things just seem to kind of you have a little extra motivation, especially not being on an Olympic team. So I'm fired up to compete and make another world team and get it done. So it's been a while.
Yep.
I'm hungry.
Not super hungry though, because you're not wrestling 65. No.
Nah.
Okay, we got one last segment, and this is with Kyle Klingman. He's gonna put you on the hot seat, and you're gonna sweat it out. So, Kyle.
Oh man.
Man, are you ready to play the game?
The game.
Yeah,
Welcome to the game. Let's go.
Let's put it out. 5 questions. All right. Who is the greatest 5-time world and Olympic champion from New Jersey whose last name begins with B, Bruce Baumgartner, or Jordan Burroughs?
Jordan Burroughs.
Thought you might say that. Name one Greco-Roman world or Olympic medalist from Nebraska not named Rulon Gardner.
Matt Lindland.
Got it. Good job, man.
My
All
history
right.
is getting a little better because if you would have asked me a couple years ago, I would.
All right, when we interviewed Tommy Gant, you didn't make a starting 5 basketball rotation. Who would be on your starting 5 basketball rotation?
Wrestlers?
Whoever you want.
Yeah,
What's your name?
you said I can't pick Tommy.
Well, you can pick Tommy. He just didn't pick you.
Oh, that's true. I wouldn't pick me. I'd say Tommy, Jo, Nate Jackson, Kyvan Gadsden, and who's running point? I don't know. I'm trying to think. Alex Derringer is pretty good. You might throw him in there. That's a big team right there. I don't know if they can keep up with that. I have to see some other starting fives, and then I could do a better one.
Good team there. Question number 4. What's your favorite color?
Green. My last name.
I wore green.
Color of money.
Yeah, hope you'd answer that. And then other than Who is James Green, what's your favorite Flow film?
I like the Metcalf film. Well, I mean, man, that's a tough one though, because then as soon as I said that, I'm thinking about the Brands film. That one just gets you fired up all the time.
I mean, Bader has to give final approval on that because he's the guy behind it all.
Hey, I'm not behind James's thoughts or feelings towards anything, so he can
I
like
definitely
whatever he
like the
likes.
Brands ones. That one gets you fired up.
All right, how do you do, Kyle?
Go run 10 miles.
Sometimes
Got 5
Kyle,
for 5, man.
sometimes Kyle makes them super hard, and sometimes they're easy. And I think he found a kind of a nice little medium here. Although you
Yeah,
can't
I'm
get.
glad.
Go ahead.
I'm glad it wasn't too hard. 'Cause
Yeah,
then I
yeah.
would have been.
Yeah, Kyle's got a wealth of knowledge, so for him, some of these questions
He
are
gives
easy.
a lot of hints, though. He gives a lot of hints, so especially with the New Jersey 5-time, and then Greco. I'm telling you, my history before I just wrestled, I wasn't really a fan of wrestling, so I didn't know too much about the history of wrestling. But I'm definitely learning. So
Awesome. Well, James, that's going to do it for today's show. You've been a fantastic guest, as always. You're competing, as we said, June 8th out in Poland, so best of luck there. And who is James Green? The Flow film drops on July 3rd. You'll see some of those clips we played today start to surface on social media and on our site for people to get excited about. But anything else before we let you go, James?
looks good. I hope everyone tunes in for the film. Get your tissues out, maybe some popcorn. We'll see. But thank you. Appreciate you guys having me on. And it's always good chatting it up with you.
Awesome, man. Well, keep that hair going. Have a great day.
Thank you.
All right, thanks, man. See you later. All right, that's going to do it, man. Another day, another great guest. What do you know? Freaking awesome.
Yeah, good work again, man. You're the guy behind these films, and you always knock it out of the park. And boy, it was a lot of fun watching these, man. Great clips.
Well, and I while I work on, I'm not there's a lot of people that, there's a full team of people that go into making these films. Don't think I'm color correcting and we're doing the audio and making the edits. There's a collaboration going on, but appreciate that. And yeah, that's like I said, June 3rd. Who is James Green? It comes out. We hope everybody gets a chance to take a look at it. And until then, I'm Mark Bader. That's Kyle Cleming. We'll see you guys next time. Thanks.